Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video on the main channel, and today we're back with another podcast. This podcast is not a top 10 because that's usually what we do with a podcast, but we had to have an emergency podcast because a couple of days ago Nintendo released a trailer for something wild. It was a new console this year, so we brought the collective gang together. We've got H, Jack and Alka here to talk all things Switch number 2, and also something else they kind of release but don't really release, but we'll get to that bit in a bit later. So, Switch 2 this year.
Switch 2.
I don't like the name. They should have called it the Switch U. No, just kidding.
They should have called it the. They should have called it the Switch iLite.
Yes.
Yes.
No, the Super Switch
2.
Nintendo the Switch.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy though. I tweeted this out like right after the review as well. Like I just joked around with the U, but like I really don't think the name is that good. I was talking about this with Newbie in our DMs, and we thought like, why not deviate from the Switch name or make it the Nintendo Snap, because like it makes kind of a snapping noise, right?
Well, that is what I thought as well.
Yeah,
that is exactly what I thought as well when we call it the Nintendo Snap. I am surprised they went with Switch 2 because I feel like. Whereas you got like the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, etc. And Nintendo's always kind of gone a bit more outside the box with their names.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if they're trying to avoid a Wii U situation. So they're just like, people are dumb. We're going to make it very obvious that this is just a Switch, but better. Because
I think that a lot of that has to do with that, as you were saying. But I think the marketing is also going to play a really big role, because that was just the name was just one of the reasons why the Wii U didn't, do too well.
Yeah.
But I don't know, and people are just not used to it. And I was streaming the other day, and I just had a lot of people in who were like, "Oh, but like, why should I get it if I can play my old games on this system and this and that?" I already saw quite a bit of confusion. I was just like, that's
Yeah, but all the new games
we're
will be on the
back.
Switch too. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like surely with what they've revealed so far, there can't be that much confusion, and I'm hoping that whatever confusion there is, they're going to sort out in this direct.
Yeah.
So obviously we've got a direct coming up on the 2nd of April, isn't it? So we will learn more then. But
Speaking of that, Jack, was I the only one who thought it was February 4th at first?
I did.
Yeah.
I think everybody did. We were all like, "Oh my god, yes, it's in a couple of it's in a few months. Never mind."
Damn it, America, ruining things again. But
Yeah.
No,
But,
I think it's kind of relatable in the way they did it with the, or I guess you can see the similarities in the way they did it with the original Switch, where they first revealed it on, I'm pretty sure, like the 27th of October 2016, and then a couple months later in January they had the big show, press conference, Switch presentation where they revealed like the pricing, the system, how much it's gonna go for, the release date. Big games such as Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, third-party support, ARMS, which everybody forgot about, Splatoon 2. I think that's exactly what they're going to be doing in April. That's why you also have those preview events and such. Although I do think the system's going to launch in the second half of the year, but that's just my speculation.
yeah, I feel like it's going to be like a late year. So everyone buy this for Christmas! Yay, money!
I think it'll. Line up with that.
I think that's another interesting thing that you're talking about, because like we just had Donkey Kong come out like on the exact day the system got revealed. I thought that was already really funny. It's like, oh hey, we marketed this game way too much for no apparent reason. Oh hey, there's a Switch 2.
We finally brought Donkey Kong Country to this console, and now here's a new console.
Yeah.
And what should we call it? We got Xenoblade X Remaster coming out in March, but like we still have Legends EA. Of course, we'll get more info probably on Pokemon Day, and then we've got Metroid Prime 4 with no date. So I'm wondering with that Nintendo Direct whether they are going to touch on some games still coming to Switch, maybe like a few ports and such, like Metroid Prime 4, or if they are going to be like, okay, Metroid Prime 4 is going to come out for both, because like they must talk about Metroid Prime 4 at some point during that Direct then as well, because like we are moving towards the new consoles, but there must be like a few more ports still coming out this year. At least that's what I'm expecting, if it's going to launch later this year.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like talking of that, like when they announced ZA, they said, "Oh, it's going to be released simultaneously,"
Yeah, that was
which
like
begs me to believe that that will be on both.
yeah, but that was announced like about a year ago,
Yeah,
and we've
Yeah,
had
but
I know,
but
but
since.
but yeah, the fact they used the word simultaneously is interesting. I think everybody took that to mean, oh, it's going to release at the same time all around the world, but that
Yeah.
could also be taken to mean, now we know this, that it's going to be releasing on the Switch and the Switch 2, because the
Mm.
Switch has been such a huge success. There is no way there's not going to be like overlap where stuff launches on both consoles.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did that with
Um,
the 3DS a little bit as well, and I see that point as well. But like ever since they started releasing Pokemon games worldwide on the same day since X and Y, at least with most releases, they said like, oh, it's gonna simultaneously launch worldwide in this year, for example. They did that with X and Y as well.
mm.
But I can also see that happening, like an upgraded version that might run at 5 frames a second rather than 4. But we'll have to wait and see.
yeah.
yeah,
Switch 2, there's a lot of things that we can actually gather from the little trailer that we got. Obviously, we only got about, it was only like a minute and a half long, I believe, like 2 minutes or something. We only saw
Yeah.
about like
Or
90
2
seconds of the
minutes
Switch
and
2, but
21 seconds.
yeah.
yeah.
But there's quite a lot of things that we can work out from it, which I believe, Eight, I believe you've got a whole list of things to mention.
I have got, yes. So start off with,
Go on.
obviously they started off with the normal Switch, and
Yeah.
they went to start off with just a bigger screen. Like if you compare it, like on the video, it's significantly bigger.
Yeah,
But they started with the OG Switch,
so not the new
so
one.
for me, it's like actually how much bigger really is the screen compared to the OLED? Because obviously the OLED screen's bigger, but
Yeah,
how much
that's a good
difference
point.
does it actually
I think
compare?
it must be because I'm trying to think what the difference between an OLED and a regular Switch is, and I've
Size-wise.
got my OLED and
The
James' Switch over
screen
there, but
and more space.
yeah,
It's bigger,
Like on
isn't
the
it? It's slightly
console?
bigger. I don't know how
Yeah,
much
it's
I
slightly
bigger it is.
bigger.
believe,
Not too much though, but like it's slightly there.
yeah, I think it's
That's a good one though, Jack, because that makes me think of the fact like, will the Switch 2 have an OLED screen on the normal version or not?
Yeah.
Mhm.
well. Let me just do a science experiment really quickly because I've got.
Because obviously this is a lot bigger, but I've not got the OG one
I've,
with
I've,
me.
I've got the
'Cause
OG one.
Ditto H. What do you guys think, by the way? Since the limit on YouTube, at least with the video that they uploaded, is 1080, do you guys think this will be a 4K Switch or that it will just be 1080?
Well,
Okay. Okay, here we go. So here's a regular Switch. This is James's Switch, and
Yes.
then you can see you guys. Hello.
hi.
And then you've got my
Hello.
OLED, which you can like. I'm trying to sort of like display this well. You can like the actual like screen itself is like fairly similar in size, but
yeah.
you're not seeing this very well. But like
It's like it's like slightly bigger, but not like.
it's like ever so slightly. It's like if anything, the screen itself is. Well, actually, no, the screen is bigger because the difference is that the Switch, the main Switch, has like this little like border around it. You can kind of see it if the light reflects it.
Yeah.
You've got like the little like black border around the edges, and the OLED doesn't have that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing that you pointed out there, because like the screen, how it looked like in the trailer, looked very smooth. Kind of like it gave me some OLED vibes. I gotta be honest.
I feel like it's gonna be
Yeah.
OLED default. I think on the Switch 2, 100%.
Yeah, so I think it will. I think in terms of screen time, I think it will be pretty similar to the OLED. I think if anything, it might be like the OLED, but with even less of a gap,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
at the edges.
Right, yeah.
Like, I think the actual.
Yeah, actually there. So we've
Hmm.
got a USB port on both sides of the Switch now.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is nice because that means that we can actually use regular headphones with it, and not just like, or like we can use other types of headphones, not just the jack, and
Yeah.
we can also probably charge it easier and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I think
thinking
that's really
so.
good, because I heard some complaints from people. You know, if you have to charge from the bottom, that you can't like
You
use
can't
the
stand it. Yeah,
you can't use the
exactly.
stand. So I
Yeah.
think that's mostly
Well,
trying to
yeah.
circumvent that issue.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
But
think
yeah,
this
so
one's
that's
definite.
interesting to see. And then we've got a new stand on the back now, so it's less of a like solid thing and more of just like a frame, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it looks like it can bend a lot further now as well. Like it can you can have it like almost horizontal kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
the
about
only
you
thing
guys,
for
but
me-
it kind of looks like the OLED one to me.
Yeah.
It
Which
does.
I mean, it isn't a bad thing because I think the OLED stand is really good.
The OLED stand is way better. The only difference is just that this is like an entirely solid thing instead of having like
Yeah.
a sort of frame around. So I think it probably is going to be because I can have my OLED all the way up like that, So it's practically identical, I think.
And then I've got the original one, and the stand's literally just that.
That original stand,
Yeah.
I love the Switch, but that original stand was not it. That was awful.
Not the one, not the one.
No.
But I don't know whether I kind of prefer the OLED one though because it just feels like it's going to be more solid.
Yeah,
Obviously, I've
absolutely.
not
The OLED
actually
feels a lot more
used
sturdy,
it.
and like the original Switch felt sturdy, I'd say, but this one does feel a lot more
Yeah.
sturdy. And I like that they've kind of like. I think that definitely translates over with the Switch too. It looks like it's going to be a lot more like slick, a lot more sturdy, a lot closer to the OLEDs. Obviously, it's probably going to be better than the OLED because otherwise, why would they even make it?
Yeah.
But
Has to be.
yeah. So yeah, we've got that, and then obviously we've got our. Go ahead. Sorry, we've got our new Joy-Cons.
Really good idea what they did because I hadn't had this issue, but I heard people having the issue of like the railings on the side, them being like stuck or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on how easily the Joy-Con magnets like stop working. Because if they don't work properly, then it's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I feel like it's a great solution to like a pretty poor problem we had before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
maybe before.
I mean, I had no problem with the railings, but like the only thing really that kind of bugs me about these Joy-Cons, apart from the obvious, which is the drift, is just how to me it's just tiny. I hate using a single Joy-Con.
Yeah,
Like-
I can hardly do it because my hands cramp up too much.
I'm the guy who does this. We're playing every single game ever, like dual wield.
You see, I'm when it comes to the Switch, I'm pro controller all the way. I can't actually use the Joy Cons. If I'm playing on handheld mode, I can use them and it's all right. But if it's if it's like on the TV, I can't use the Joy Cons. I just can't do it.
Mario Party though.
I'm kind of
Well, apart from that,
I'm a hybrid of both. Like if I'm playing something casually on the telly, like I don't know, Pikmin, Animal Crossing or something, I just do dualies.
Julie's.
But if I'm playing like Splatoon or Mario Kart or something like that, then I have to do the Pro controller because
yeah.
this is just not it.
So I'll
Yeah.
say it's in,
They must have done something with the sticks. I already heard some people say like, oh, the sticks look even worse. But like, Nintendo's had so many lawsuits over the past almost 8 years now on the Joy-Con drift. Like, they must have done something with them.
I think they have because you can see that they kind of show it a little bit like in a few seconds in the video. They kind of have more of a kind of like barrier almost around it, which prevents like dust and stuff from getting in because that's a lot of the time the reason why the drift happens because it just gets clogged up with random crap.
Yeah.
So I think the fact they pointed that out in the trailer is their way of saying, look, we've done something about the drift, so it's going to be better this time around.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, you're
But
not gonna find my
also, like-
toenails in my Joy-Con controllers anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You hate when that happens.
I hate that.
Oh, all the time. There's also
Yeah.
like an extra button on the Joy-Cons, and there's been
There
like,
is.
huge debate.
This is
Yeah,
one of the
what
things
kind
I
of
wanted to
is-
talk about. So, what purpose does that button serve? Because some people are saying that it looks like it's going to function as a home button, but we already have one of those.
Yeah, and the
So-
home button is on the same side of the controller as the other button.
Yeah, but that
Exactly.
button, but that button looks like the same as the button on the left one. Which is the
Can you
camera
actually? I think it's
No,
just it's in
because-
a few seconds in the video, isn't it? If you
Oh, it's not. It's
Because
different.
you've got like
It must have
you've
a
got this
different
one with the circle in it, and this one that's just a flat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting as well because that that square one on the right Joy-Con is also new because that's not on the original ones.
No.
So we've got we've got that, but then we've also got another new button on like the inside, I believe, haven't we?
On this, on
Yes, I think we do.
that bit.
So
Yeah.
So we've got 2 new buttons.
There's 2 new buttons.
so this one here. So we've got the home button, screen
That's
capture,
the
and then
screen
whatever this
capture,
is.
whatever the new button is.
That might potentially. Well, actually, no, I don't think that would be screen capture just on the other Joy-Con because they don't have home on both Joy-Cons. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
I
both of
think
these
it's nothing
buttons
new,
are
but
different.
like having the same use for the same button on both controllers, especially one
Yeah.
where if you give it to little Timmy, he just spams it a lot, makes your gallery,
Yeah.
just go full.
Yeah.
So I do wonder what it is. I do wonder if maybe it might have some link to like online stuff because one of the things I'm hoping with the Switch 2 is that they're going to have better online capabilities, like more kind of like the whole like friends list thing can be more integrated. There could be more kind of like like messaging between people and stuff.
Yeah.
I do wonder if there's something like that, that button might be to do with that, maybe.
Potentially.
And speaking of that though, Jack, do you think we'll have like we had the stupid dumb Switch Online app right now? Do you guys
Yeah.
think we'll have like actual voice chat, like built
I
in the
think-
Joy-Cons or something?
I think we might just because because the stuff about like adding a USB port tells me they're trying to make it a lot more accessible this time around,
Yeah.
and they're trying to let you hook up more devices and stuff to it. I think the reason we didn't have voice chat before is because they didn't have a way to guarantee that everybody could actually do voice chat. They might have a headphone. Actually, do they even have a headphone jack? Yeah, they
We
do.
did have a headphone jack.
But they have a headphone jack, but like not everyone actually uses one that has a headphone jack. If you want to hook up an actual
No.
headset, you need a USB port.
Yeah.
So, you might need a USB port. You don't always need one, but you know what I mean. It's making it more accessible.
Yeah.
So I think stuff like that points to the fact that maybe they will have stuff like that available.
Speaking of something else a little random though, now that we were just discussing this, which is also like a little small, what do you guys think? Because like the Switch came out originally with 32 gigabytes of space. Of course, you can add a micro SD card. The OLED came out later with 64, but like game file sizes are getting bigger and bigger by the day. Are you guys expecting 128 gigs on maybe?
I think they are going to launch it with 64 gigs again. And the reason I say that is because the game sizes are getting bigger, but I think generally Nintendo is better than the others at compressing the game sizes. So I think I reckon they will definitely release a special version with 128 gigs, but I think the standard one will probably be 64 still.
Yeah.
Because the OLED hasn't actually been out all that long,
No.
Like when was it? It came out like 2022, 23, was it?
2021 with Metroid Dread. Not
2021.
that year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it has been
It
5. It has been 4 years actually. So maybe I'm wrong, but I think they definitely will have versions that have 64 gig. I do wonder if they might even have a you can with a phone you can buy different versions that have different storage on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I was just wondering that because another one of the big complaints during this era was like as you said, Nintendo is very good at compressing them.
Yes.
But then you have certain companies like I vaguely remember like WWE 2K18 or like was it like Assassin's Creed where you have like the Switch boxes where it says like a download code required or like download the internet connection like required on the top of the box art. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is funny because it was always like the third party games where you could tell they didn't really try as much. So
Yeah.
you can install like Smash Bros and you can install like Smash Ultimate, which is a huge game, and be absolutely fine for space. But then you would try to install like Skyrim or something, and your entire thing's just taken up. Like, but yeah, so we've got that. I'm very interested about this whole. I'm interested about this whole thing with it being like backwards compatible. I just wanted to mention because obviously they showed in the trailer that you can use the old cartridges. So obviously they're going to be using cartridges again, but that makes you think: how are they going to differentiate the cartridges? Because you can't use the Switch 2 ones on the Switch, I assume.
Yeah.
So
maybe like the 3DS thing. They had like the little side thing, right?
Yeah. Like
Well, I was going to say I did see a concept thing of that where they might have like a little nubbin on the side just to differentiate them.
Yeah.
Not just that, I think that's something good you're bringing up. I was talking about that with Newbie as well in our DMs we have. I'm pretty sure you can't click in the right control stick anymore. which for certain games to perform certain actions, like your Luigi's Mansion Freeze or stuff like that.
Yeah.
You have certain games, or like Splatoon, where that is like a required option and quite important.
Mm.
So that means that certain games will, I guess, not be fully compatible with the new Joy-Cons.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you can use your old Joy-Cons, right? And like your Pro controllers for that.
well, this is just it, because I feel like you probably can use them. That's why they've got like all the thing that the cables and stuff. They've still got the old ports as well, so you can hook them up. You definitely won't be able to use old Joy-Cons like attached to the Switch because the connectors are different.
Maybe Pro controllers.
Which is another thing I wanted to mention actually, because that obviously means as well that the like controller, the Joy-Con grip thing, obviously that also won't work with your old Joy-Cons. So they're going to have to make new designs for that as well. So I do wonder how that's actually going to work, because if you kind of like, because I think the grip that we've got at the moment is kind of designed so you have to slide them in. You can't really like put it in horizontally because the grips are in the way. So I think they do show it in here in the video. Actually, I haven't really seen it properly, but
I do get what you mean that you can't connect your controllers anymore, your Joy-Con, but you do have the button on the inside where you can connect with a system via Bluetooth, kind of like the Pro controller. So maybe you can only do it via that way, but sliding it on, that's probably going to be impossible then.
Exactly.
And plus, that's how they charge up though by sliding them on. You have to load if your Switch turn on to plug that in there to charge them up. It's really like
I mean,
well, that's just
they do.
I know they do the charging
like
station
thing.
Yeah, you can put them on.
Yeah, you'll just have to get one of them to continue using it, really.
Or just buy the Switch 2 controls.
What do you think of the new SL and SR buttons, though? Because they look so much bigger than they are now, and they're not as sort of indented.
I mean, honestly, I'm happy with that, because I always found the ones on the original Joy-Cons quite awkward to press because they're so tiny and they've got like the little indent. It's kind of like harder to do anything with them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, they were all right, but these ones do look a lot more accessible. I think it's a lot easier to press them. It's not as much of a strain to have to do it. Obviously, if you had
LNR were really tiny. Like LZR were pretty fine, but
just the
LNR
little
were so tiny.
Oh
my god.
But yeah, so obviously, like when you had the like hand grip thing connector things on, SL and SR weren't so bad because you had the bigger versions on them. But for these ones, it looks like it's not. It looks like it's going to be a lot more accessible. Which makes me wonder: are we actually going to have those hand grip things for this one? Because it looks like it's a lot bigger, so it looks like it's not going to have the same issue where people can't physically hold it properly.
Well, they'll still need the stupid wrist strap thing on them as well, won't they?
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because for stuff like Mario Party, Just Dance, all of that lot, they kind of have to have that.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious about this bit that comes up in a minute, where they sort of like wheel them around almost like a mouse or something. Like, I'm curious if that's them being silly or if that's an actual function that it might have. Like, because I don't see how it could be, but maybe there's like something you can do with like, moving it along a surface or something. I don't know. It could just be them being silly, but
just use it as like a mouse for like on the internet.
There were some leaks talking about that.
There you go. So you've got the button here, and then there's stuff in here.
Oh yeah, so I do wonder, because it could be, because if there was like a functionality for it to work like a mouse, it would need some kind of like sensor thing on the inside. So maybe that's what that little bit is.
Maybe potentially.
Possibly. But then you've obviously got this port in the middle that actually connects to the Switch, which, as long as the magnets actually align properly, then that shouldn't be a problem. But I see that being the next Joy-Con drift, possibly.
That's definitely been the thing most people have pointed out, is the possibility of it breaking off. I don't think it will, because I don't think, I've got to say, like, although the rails, some people have had issues with them, I generally don't know many people who have had issues with these. Like, these have been alright. Well, I've never had an issue with it. I don't know anyone in real life who has. I'd like to
I
think
can
that
see that
it'll.
becoming an issue, but like, if you guys remember the Wii wheel, they had like 100 prototypes for a friggin' wheel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like they must have done
So
some
there's loads of
testing,
stuff
right?
research on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while since this. Yeah.
I think
But
they
even,
must.
like-
I think they wouldn't make the whole like snapping the Joy Cons on thing. They wouldn't make that the gimmick of the new Switch unless they were confident that it would work. Because like that's like
Mhm.
that's like the whole thing, isn't it? It's like the little like click when you do it. Like that's the whole gimmick of the first Switch. Like that's one of the things that they
Yeah.
sell it on. So I feel like that's like their central gimmick for the Switch too. I feel like they have to be confident that it's going to work okay and it's not going to malfunction.
Yeah.
But I want to know how strong the magnets are as well, because if I hold my Switch like this, will it just fall off?
Almost
just-
certainly not. I'm sure that is probably the first thing that somebody said in the testing room.
Yeah.
Like, hey, will the Joy-Con fall out if you hold it like this?
If you hold it
Yeah.
like this and just shake it enough, will it
Yeah.
fall off?
It is fun. It is funny seeing some of the memes people are posting online. Like, well, will it survive a meteor strike? Has Nintendo thought of this? Like,
It's not a Nokia. Only Nokias do that. No, I think that's a really good point, especially because of the fact that like, the thing with the OG Switch had like the button on the back that you had to press in order to get it
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
yeah,
There must be some kind of replacement for that.
I think
There
there. I
must
think there is. I think you see it in a minute in the video. Actually, if you keep going, I think because they like connect it and then they show it disconnecting, don't they?
Yeah. But like, even just there with the buttons, the way the buttons push in, it makes me kind of feel like the buttons on the actual Joy-Cons are going to be more like the Pro Controller ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a little bit more, like a little bit more kind of like like rounded and like more hefty, I guess,
Not-
because the
yeah.
ones on
Yeah,
the
not
actual
as
Joy Cons
clicky.
right now they're a lot more clicky.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I do think they've modelled it a lot more after the Pro Controller, to be honest. But yeah, if you just keep going in the video for a minute, I think you'll see what I'm talking about
Okay, to the snap bit.
when they get to the bit where they like snap it onto the screen.
Wiggle, wiggle.
Maybe they didn't
Yeah,
call it
but-
the Switch Snap because of Thanos, because
The
he
Nintendo
gave it
Snap.
away,
They've already got Pokemon Snap. They can't have Nintendo Snap.
So
But
for the strap things here, there's like a button here that I've just noticed.
that's interesting, actually. Yeah, because that is new. That I didn't. Yeah, because that's not there on this. That's not there at all.
That's
No.
probably the
I haven't noticed that until just now, actually.
That's probably the new this button, probably.
I literally stopped in exactly that.
But I think if you just like keep going for a minute, because they show how you like disconnect it. Because obviously this is them snapping it on, but they like
Snap.
yeah, like they show this and then they well that's not it. But I'm sure they show them coming off as well at some point. Or do they? Maybe I've made it up.
But there's this button here.
I think that must be it. I think that must be like the button you press to disconnect it.
Must be.
Because it's around like the same spot on like the back at like the top and the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
But that looks as if it can be more accidentally pressed, though.
Possibly. I think the thing is though, because you have to like hold it down and like pull it apart, like pull it off.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't really be an issue, because if the magnet, like you said, if the magnet is strong enough, you won't be able to like accidentally pull off the Joy-Con just by accidentally pressing this
Yeah.
for like half a second,
Yeah.
Like you'd have to like be really trying, I'd imagine.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it should be stronger than your average refrigerator magnet. I think they tested like how strong it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Onto the point and all that stuff. Yeah.
It'd
But,
be crazy if it
yeah.
was as strong as a refrigerator magnet. That would then we'd get all those issues.
We'd get all the issues.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Yeah.
But what's quite weird is like you got inside where the rails was, and they've coloured it in with the Joy-Con colour.
Yeah.
Like, if you could use other colour Joy-Cons, then
Yeah, that is interesting to me. I mean, obviously, like I don't see any reason why other colored Joy Cons wouldn't work with it.
no.
you would have the mismatch, wouldn't you? Of like, you've got a red on the inside here, you might have like purple on the Joy-Con. So, I mean, it's a sort of just like a very minor like thing, but it will probably will annoy some people.
It'll definitely annoy some
It would
people,
annoy.
but-
It will annoy me.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but you're easy to annoy, so it's fine.
Wow.
Fair.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I needed to ask, what do we think the new cartridges will taste like?
Glue.
I hope so.
Yeah.
We're gonna get
Same
the
on this-
glue sniffing addictions from the
That's
cartridge. Will there be NFC and like amiibo functionality? That's another like question you
Yeah.
can pose as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they probably will still have NFC. I think the actual like control sticks themselves look basically identical, but the actual like thumb pad looks pretty much identical.
It does, yeah.
I want to say that if it looks identical, that probably means that the NFC thing on the thumb pad will also probably remain. 'Cause they'd be stupid to stop it, because amiibos are a huge cash cow for them. So they'd be stupid
I
not
know.
to have it somehow.
True, but like they have been scaling down with the amount of amiibo. But you are right.
Yeah.
They have been, but
Um,
again, you do have to wonder: is it just because they're waiting for another big game? Like, it's been 4 years since we've heard from Sakurai. After all, like, there must be another Smash Bros. In development at
that's
some
the other
point.
thing that I
Like,
wanted to So at the front, I know it works with the OLED. I can't remember if it works with the standard Switch, but when you put it in a dock, it comes up with the battery
hmm,
on like the top of the screen.
yeah,
When you put it into the dock, there's so much more.
there's a lot more space
Like,
showing,
screen
isn't there?
poking
Because
out.
the dock's more like curved, isn't it?
Yeah.
So are they going to use that for like, I don't know, notifications if they're putting more like
Maybe they might have. They could have like a little icon just in like the top left or something, because you only need like a little like dot or a little message thing or something,
yeah.
which would work if they're adding more like online
I think
functionality
so.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when it comes to the dock, I think the dock is going to function largely the same as the original one. I think they kind of don't really need to change that, other than maybe just like adding more like ports to it or whatever,
Yeah, exactly.
like USB ports
Yeah.
and stuff. But I think it pretty much does what it needs to. I don't think they need to change that.
Yeah, you had near the launch of the Switch, some docks that got like Switch screens that got scratches from their docks.
Yeah, I think if you like put it,
Maybe they worked on a new dock design to try and circumvent that, but outside that, I do agree with
Yeah.
like it wouldn't really need to be fixed. It's quite easy. Just get an HDMI, just get a power cable, bam.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like it's really, really user friendly, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it, really. Yeah, I'm interested in. It is interesting the fact that they sort of like dropped this and then said we're going to have a direct in a few months to tell you more, rather than just having the direct to reveal it. But I think the reason that they've done it, because I was thinking about this, I think the reason they've done it is because we've got Pokemon Day and Mario Day between now and that direct.
Yeah.
So I think they are going to announce stuff about launch titles before this direct, because I think the direct in April is just going to focus on the Switch too.
Yeah.
And I think we might get like tiny like snippets like the Mario Kart snippet in this one, but I think they are going to actually announce Switch 2 games properly between now and then. And then they're gonna
because there'll be more Legendary stuff in February, Pokemon Day, and then
Yeah.
I feel like in Mario Day they're gonna go, "Hi, Mario Kart is here," and maybe some other Mario stuff.
There might be an official reveal of Mario Kart 9 or whatever they want to call it, and then maybe like another Mario game of some sort, like a 3D Mario or something. I don't know. I think because I think they would want to have different games to be able to show like as like showcases within the April Direct. I think they won't be announcing games properly, but they'll want to have stuff to show as like showcases of how it all works. So I reckon they'll probably have some kind of equivalent of 1-2 Switch that they'll show off as like part of like how the Joy-Cons work and everything. They probably will show more snippets of Mario Kart and maybe stuff from like Pokemon or whatever if they've announced any of it by then.
I reckon it'll be Pokemon, Metroid, and Mario Kart. I reckon might be the launch titles for those three.
Yeah,
games.
Possibly, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at this point to see Metroid Prime as. I mean, we know it's going to be this year, so if it's not a launch title, it'll be a very early one
Yeah.
for the Switch
but
too.
those titles are coming out earlier on in the year. Like, why would you wait for the Switch 2 version? I think they'll just come out and like it's backwards compatible
Yeah.
anyways.
Mm.
I can kind of
Mm.
see what you mean, but I feel like in the direct itself, they're gonna spend quite a bit of time as well on the software that's coming out because I feel like that's almost, if not more important
Than the hardware.
Yeah.
than the hardware itself.
Hmm.
I feel like it's gonna be kind of like the Switch presentation, where they're first gonna touch on the console, then on the games, and then I think Pokemon's gonna get touched on in February,
Yeah.
of course. But
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna touch on any Mario games until the Switch 2 Direct, because like they just want to have everything in one go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the main thing I feel like they announced it so early. I heard that argument being brought up somewhere else as well, and it kind of made sense to me. It's because remember before the console got announced, we got like so many leaks to the point that we all got annoyed and bored of it.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of just to be like, okay, guys, it's real. Third-party people announce your stuff that you want to announce for it, whether it's games or accessories or whatever. I think it's just to have that and then be like, hey, they're just gonna have to blow out and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. That's definitely a good point because
But
I think
for
they.
Mario Day, I think they'll just have like, oh, these are some older titles, but like we'll touch on a few new ones, like, including Mario Kart, in the upcoming Direct in like 2 days, because
That's
it's
a good. That's a
2 or 3
good
days
point.
away.
That's a good point. Actually, they might.
No,
Yeah. They
I
might.
can also
They
see what
might.
you mean though, but like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
But that's
would
a
be
good
weird
point.
revealing games beforehand, but then like the only other game that you were also mentioning is Metroid Prime 4. When are they gonna talk about that? Like, it's a Switch 2 focus Direct. Why would they mention
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 4? That's the only game where I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
So I do wonder if they're gonna possibly in this April Direct. I wonder if they might even say when they're gonna have a Direct to focus on some games or something,
Yeah,
like maybe
I reckon
later
they'll
on
do.
or something.
Can't be
But they might
May or
end it
something.
saying like Nintendo Direct upcoming in June or something, maybe.
Early
Yeah, I've-
June. Yeah.
I can see that happen, but I feel like it's mostly gonna be like a big blow. That they'll just want to have everything out there so everybody can just get hyped.
Boost.
Things can get pre-order, what the prices are,
Yeah,
the
true.
games, 'cause I can see that happening, but then it's kind of like, okay, guys, we're waiting until April. Then they gotta wait 2 more months to hear about the games. I feel
Yeah.
like
I reckon they might do a thing.
since we have those preview events, I think like first half of the presentation is just going to be hardware, and the second half or like the last bit is going to be like, oh, here's a trailer for like a new Wii Sports type of game or a 1-2 Switch. Here's
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah.
Kart, here's 3D Mario, Splatoon 4 or something. Or
Here's a new
spin-off.
Zelda. Here's a new Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Here's all this stuff. You know.
Yeah, no,
Sushi
exactly.
Warriors 2.
Exactly.
Yo,
I feel like in April they're just gonna do like just teaser trailers of all the games, so they're not gonna go in great detail until later on.
Potentially, yeah.
yeah, but like.
Hmm.
I can see that happening, but like they have the huge events coming up in like all the big cities. They must have more
True.
to show off than just
True.
Mario Kart,
Yeah,
and they have to
they
go
must-
into a
yeah,
bit
they
of
must
detail
do.
because like they're gonna
Yeah.
be playable there.
Yeah.
Because I suppose that's the other
Really?
thing is that if they want people to be hyped, they have to have more than just there's going to be a Mario Kart game. They have to like as they're doing their big announcement for the Switch 2, they have to kind of be like, okay, like we've got the Switch 2, this is what they can do, and then to give you something to look forward to, we've got this and this and this and this and this that we can
Yeah.
play on it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
So-
remember with the OG Switch or like even if you go to like other console launches, for example, with Breath of the Wild, there were so many events, even at E3 2016, where you could already play it. I could already see gameplay. Like they must show off gameplay here or there and go like a little bit in depth. They had in the January presentation,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah,
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on there. That was a port at the time, so that's not really like
Yeah.
a valid,
Yeah.
thing. But they had like snipper clips. That's another, one.
Yeah.
Where there were some preview events back then as well. So I think at least for some games they'll have to show them off a
Mhm.
little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely Mario
Yeah.
Kart because that's like the main flagship title. It seems like.
Yeah.
Because those need to be playable. They need to have something playable there instead of here have a Joy-Con. Okay, go for
Yeah.
the menus, guys. The menus are cool, right?
yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, look at the system settings.
Oh my god.
Exciting.
Well,
Speaking
as
of,
long as it's got me, I won't complain.
top music, top tier music.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Nintendo music. Bring back the Wii days.
Yeah,
Wii
give us
channel.
eShop music or like menu music.
Exactly.
I
Give
know.
us themes. Give us themes, please.
Yeah. So yeah, Switch 2 coming soon. More news probably. We'll be back with another emergency podcast in April at some point, more than likely. But yeah, There could be a load of new stuff. We don't know. It's got, like we've been saying, it's 10 years since the last game. They could dump anything on us at this point. We'll be surprised at anything. I'm excited.
Whatever it is, we will unpack it to death.
We'll
We've just spent an hour and a half talking about literally 2 minutes of a video.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
So-
100%. We'll unpack it next time. We'll do conspiracy videos. We'll do all sorts. But yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Our subscription will be linked in the description down below. Comment what your prediction of Mario Kart 9 will be, what the launch times for Switch 2 will be, all that stuff down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you guys probably another Emerging podcast on Pokemon Day. Bye!
Bye.
Bye.